Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dead with Dave. And if you're new to my show, this is a Halloween show. We talk about anything Halloween or horror related. And today, we're going to start with cool props. When I was in Transworld this past March, there was a company there called Gore Galore. Now, one of the major things that they specialize in is these huge, over-the-top puppets. But that got me thinking. You don't really see many home haunters building puppets. You know, you see some over-the-top costumes and things like that, but you don't really see any actor-controlled puppets. Well, there's two guys I want to talk to you about that actually made puppets. Actor-operated puppets, which I really enjoyed. The first one comes from Halloweenville. He built a kick-ass man-eating plant. Take a look at this. I really like this idea. I mean, I've seen the killer plant thing done before. A lot of people, actually, a lot of home haunters now are actually doing the killer plant thing. But I've never really seen one as a actor-controlled puppet like this. I think this is a really, really cool concept. Now, Halloweenville does have a vlog here on YouTube, and he does go over how he did it throughout his vlogs. So if you want to check it out, go over to his channel and check out this. He kind of does a step-by-step. It's intermixed with his vlogging, so you kind of got to weed it out. But he does go pretty in detail on how he does it, and it's a very cool build. Now, this next prop comes from Deoblo85, and he built a full hand-controlled moving T-Rex head. Take a look at this. Now, this prop is really cool for two reasons. It moves wickedly realistic, and it's super smooth. It just glides around. And it's a freaking dinosaur. Not many home haunters are doing dinosaurs these days. And let me tell you, I'm loving this. I love it's a huge T-Rex head, and it's just different. And you know me, I love anything that's different. Now, Deoblo85 does have a vlog also. And he does go through step-by-step how he built this. Kind of step-by-step. But you'll get the drift of it. Awesome channel. Go check his out. Again, his name is Deoblo85. So go check out those channels. Again, it's Halloweenville and Deoblo85. They have some really cool props besides those two. I just wanted to feature those. But go check out their channels. They're definitely well worth the watch. And make sure you click the subscribe button on both of them. I think it's time to start building some pneumatics around here, don't you? Well, like I said in a previous episode, I wanted to show you guys how to make a pneumatic prop. A nice, simple pneumatic prop. But not too simple that it'd be boring and everybody knows how to build it. I wanted something, you know, that everybody can do, but isn't just boring and dumb. So what better way than to build a nice, easy 2-bar lifting mechanism. Now, I designed the lifting mechanism on AutoCAD, and I have the drawings here. So it's all planned out, and it's ready to build. So I'm going to go step by step through it. I'm going to break this up over a couple episodes because I think it'd just be way too long to explain this all in one episode. So I'm going to break this up into 3 episodes. Today we're going to talk about how to build just the base of it. The next episode will go into assembling it and building lift arms. And in the 3rd episode, we will talk about hooking up to a controller and getting it to work off a sensor. Now, I want to make this how-to a little bit different than the normal tutorial. I want to bring it to the next level, not just make a video, but I want to give you guys a set of plans for this very prop. Now, as most of you know, I am a machinist. And being a machinist, I have the full capabilities of making AutoCAD drawings. So from now on, whenever I make a tutorial, I will make a full set of drawings to give to you guys. That's right, I'm going to give them to you. They're going to be absolutely free. All you got to do is pay for shipping and handling. Just go to my website, pandemichallproduction.com, go to my store page, and click on prop plans. You'll find whatever I'm working on right there. Now, these plans aren't up right now, so if you go there right now, they're not going to be there. I want to finish the prop and make sure it's running right and make sure it's all working properly before I send out the first set of plans. Sounds reasonable, right? So look for these at the end of this month. This month is April. So check out the website at the end of this month and you will see the plans for this how-to. So I think we should get to it. This is the first segment of how to build a 2-bar lift mechanism. Well, since I already have this all planned out, this first step is super easy for me. I'm going to make all my cuts right here. Now what you see is a simple 1-inch square mild steel tubing. I got it from the Home Depot. It is lightweight. It only has a 1/16 wall thickness. It's lightweight, but it's super strong and it's perfect for this simple lift. Whenever cutting anything, you should always clamp your work. Make sure you clamp your work good. Now you can cut this with a hacksaw. You see here I'm using a sawzall. You can use a bandsaw. You can even use a a chop saw with a metal wheel on it. If you are going to use any type of saw, make sure your cuts are straight. I can't emphasize enough that your cuts have to be straight. As you see, I'm just putting all the pieces together with each one of my drawings so I don't lose track of which one's what. Okay, as for the cuts themselves, you're going to need a couple different lengths and sizes. You're going to need 4 18-inch long pieces. You're going to need a 10-inch long piece. You're going to need 2 12-inch long pieces, and you're going to need 1 20-inch long piece. Now, I understand you're not really going to know where these go right now, but it will all come together. I swear I will show you. Now, after you're done making all your cuts, I like to deburr my ends. Just take a file real quick, file the ends, make sure there's no burr. It's going to make attaching the corners and joints a lot easier if they're not all raggedy and jaggedy. Now, as you see here, I have each piece with its proper drawing so I don't lose track of what's what. They're all cut to the exact length, and like I said, you can have these drawings for free. Just got to pay for shipping and handling. Just go to my website and you can pick them up. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Right now, you're probably getting extremely pissed at me. But like, Dave, I don't have a freaking welder. I understand. Not everybody has a welder, but I wanted to show a couple ways to put this together, starting with welding. Now, later on, I will show how to bolt it together if you don't have a welder, but I do want to show you some welding techniques. First thing we're going to do here is we're just going to tack weld the corners in. You always tack weld first for 2 reasons. One, it's a lot easier to hold the pieces together so they don't spread apart from the heat from welding. The second reason is if you make a mistake, it's a lot easier to remove the tack weld than it is if you just went along and just laid a heavy ass bead on there. Now, as you see, small little tack welds, nice and round, just to hold it together and make sure it stays square while you're doing your final welding. Now, if you're using a wire feed arc welder like I am and you're not using a MIG welder, you're going to have to clean your welds after every time you tack or after every time you make a weld because you're going to get a lot of slag and crap on there. You have to clean it up because you cannot weld over slag. After you make sure everything's good, you make your first bead, nice and slow. Take your time, don't rush. This stuff is super thin. It's only 1/16 thick. So my welder is actually set on its lowest possible setting, and my feed is only at number 2. It's super slow, so I don't burn through. Actually, I burned through a lot on this first cut, this first weld, and you gotta kind of fill in the holes after that. So real low settings is super thin material. Now, to give you an idea of what the slag actually looks like after welding, that slag, it's nasty, it's crusty, it looks like crap. You have to wire brush, wire wheel, grind it. Sometimes you even have to hit it with a hammer. That's why they make hammers called slag hammers. Just go over and beat it off, because you need to get the nice, you gotta get all the crap off it. And as you see, you get a nice pretty weld when it's all done. So that's basically it for welding. Just put your pieces together, tack, and then weld. Now you have to do your upright. Now this is the main support for the pop-up. So all the weight is on this one bar. So you have to make sure this is strong. You have to make sure this is square. It's very important. It goes up and down in the square. It's not bent over or leaning. You also have to make sure it's in the dead center of the base. And just like before, you're going to do your tack welds and then do your final weld. Now here for my final weld, I went over it twice actually. I laid down 2 really thick heavy beads because there is a lot of weight on that weld. Now if you don't have a welder, we can bolt it together. It's not as easy as welding, but it can be done. First you get yourself this flat stock. I also got this from Home Depot. It's 1 inch by 1/8 thick flat stock mild steel. We're going to cut 3-inch sections off of it. Now I'm just going to show you a quick corner. I'm not going to build a whole nother prop. Now you want to tape 2 of them together, because you're going to put 1 on each side of the joint, and you want your holes to line up. We're just going to drill through. Don't we wish we could always work this fast? After they're taped together and secure, you want to measure 1/2 inch off the sides and 1.5 inches dead in the center, but you want to put 3 holes in it. You want to try to get the holes perfectly in the middle. If they're off, it's not a big deal, because that's why you're taped them together, so they will line up no matter what, but you want to try your best to get them in the center. Now these 3 holes are going to be drilled 19/64 in diameter. They are to accept a 1/4 inch carriage bolt, and you got to do 3 of them. After you do the 3 holes, remove the tape, and I also like to countersink the backs of the holes, so that it's easier for the carriage bolts to sink in and sit flush. Now you don't need to use a drill press. You can use your regular, corded or cordless drill. It works just the same. It's just going to take you a little bit longer, but also make sure you're drilling in straight. You don't want to go in crooked, because then your bolts aren't going to line up. Now we want to transfer these holes onto our square tubing. Now, like I said, this is just an example for one of the legs. This is not the prop itself. This is just to give you an idea on how to bolt it together. After you transfer your marks onto your square tubing, you drill your 19/64 through that, nice and straight. Take your time, be careful. And you should clamp your work. Please don't pay attention to what I'm doing there. I'm just holding on to it, but please clamp your work. It can kick up and spin around and rip your knuckles off. Again, after I'm done drilling my holes, I like to countersink them, get all the burrs off. It also helps make sure that the bolt can go through properly. Now that the hard part is done, all you gotta do is put the plates on, put your bolts through, and tighten it all down. Yeah, I think it's time to speed this up a little bit. Now, like I said, these are just 1/4-inch carriage bolts, 1.5 inches long, with a lock washer and a 1/4-inch nut. Make sure it's nice and square. Tighten them all in. Good and tight. Don't be scared to crush the metal. Just really clamp on it. This thing is going to be thrashing around. You want these things to hold and hold forever. There you have it. Nice and strong. No problems. That will never move. That is going to be a nice strong joint. Just as strong as if you welded it. Well, so far so good. This is a nice strong base. This thing is not coming apart. It's nice and lightweight, so it's easy for you to pack up and store for when it's the off Halloween season. Next time we will get to the actual moving part. We'll attach the arms, and I will show you the hardware used for that, and we'll also attach the pneumatics to it. Now, if you have any questions about this build, please feel free to ask. Leave them down the comments down below, or write me an email. I'll gladly answer any of your questions on this section. Please don't jump ahead. Just ask questions so far as we're going, and I'll answer them on the very next episode. A couple weeks ago, I got an email from Hotwire Foam Factory, and they wanted to know if I would like to do a review of a couple of their products. And of course, I'm like, hell yeah. I love Hotwire Foam Factory. I already got some of their tools. So it was no brainer. I said, yeah, sure. So we talked a little bit, and we decided what products I was going to review. And they sent me a couple things. First thing they sent me was a 6-inch long hot knife. I already have their 4-inch long one, but they sent me the 6-inch long, and that is a pretty big freaking hot knife. So I'm going to give a review on that. They sent me some foam fusion it's a foam glue, almost like a foam board adhesive, but this is actually meant just for EPS foam, and looking forward to working with that. They also sent me a container of foam coat, which would normally when we're doing a prop as home haunters we'll use dry lock. Well, this will replace that, and it should be better, hopefully. So I'm going to give a review on that. And they also gave me a bottle of Boost that goes in the foam coat, which would give it a super, super strong coating. So I figure, with these new tools, what am I going to build? Well, you know what? I'm just going to build a simple, easy tombstone. Because that's what a lot of home haunters do. They build tombstones. So that's what I'm going to do. So over the next couple weeks, I'm going to build a tombstone. And I'm going to give a thorough workup of these tools and these new coatings. And give a thorough review on the Hotwire Foam Factory product line. Now, the one thing I do want to stress, and I also stress this to my contact over there, that it doesn't matter how much stuff you're sending me. I am going to give you a true, thorough review. If your products don't measure up, I'm going to say it straight out. I bought a lot of things online, and I rely on a lot of other people's reviews of those products. So I would never give a good review to something that doesn't deserve it. So I'm telling everybody right now, if you get a review here on Dead with Dave, it is going to be a 100% truthful review on those products. So we're going to give these things a workout. Trust me. Well, that brings this episode of Dead with Dave to a close. I want to thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to tell me about your haunt or the props you're building, please leave a comment down below or email me at dave@pathemicalproduction.com. Please check out my website for some other cool shit that's on there. This has been Dead with Dave. Goodbye.